small till it ain't, till it ain't, till it ain't, till it ain't. I'm building up a wall till it breaks. She hated when I call and it's late. I don't wanna keep you waiting. I hope I never keep you waiting. She think I know it all, but I don't.
Hey, Caitlin,
Hey, Scott.
how are you doing?
I am doing great.
What are we doing? What is this thing we're doing right now?
Well, Scott, we have, as anybody who's watching the video can see, a third person here with us today for this episode of our podcast adventure. So I have asked Hannah Sayre, who is a former student of mine at Middlebury College, to join us as a research assistant on this project. And we're going to kind of jump in a little bit more in a sec to exactly what Hannah will be up to. But first, I thought we might just invite her to introduce herself.
Yeah, so I'm Hannah. As Caitlin said, I went to Middlebury. I graduated a year ago in February of 25. Caitlin was my thesis advisor. And I also took advanced econometrics with her. And writing my thesis under Caitlin was the best experience I had at Middlebury, and a big reason why I want to do an econ PhD. My thesis that I wrote, I've continued working on, and it's now under review at a top urban field journal.
Oh,
Um, and currently, I'm an economic consultant in Boston. And I heard of Scott because I think one time I Googled Caitlin's name and I saw on YouTube that you had done an interview of her. So of course I watched that, and then I watched several more of your interviews with economists, which I found inspiring because I got to hear about their personal lives and what got them into economics. I've been reading your blog recently too on Claude, which is important for me as I think about publishing and what that's going to do to that whole ecosystem.
mm-hmm.
And I want to get more research experience outside of my job because I am applying this fall to econ and public policy PhDs.
Okay.
So I asked Caitlin if she knows of anyone who could use an RA, and that's why I'm here.
Oh, that's great.
Hannah was like, "Do you know anybody who could use an RA?" And I was like, "How about you do it for free in front of an audience of thousands while we experiment with a novel technology?" And like,
Mm,
bless her heart, she
you
said,
really
"Okay."
sold her on it.
I'm sold.
You're like, what could possibly go wrong?
That's part of the big conversation here. What could possibly go wrong?
Right,
So,
right.
Hannah, we're gonna like kind of dive into your assignment in one sec. But first, we've been doing these icebreakers, and I have brought one for us today. So I'm gonna start with you, Hannah. Um, let's forget all about the fact that we're economists for just a second. This is just a regular old non-econ question. What's a hill you would be willing to die on?
This is very specific, but I really hate blow hand dryers in public bathrooms. I hate the noise. I hate how it blows germs around, and I would always rather use paper towels despite the environmental impact.
Oh my gosh, so
Oh,
you know what I really hate? You know those Dyson ones that you put your hands in and then they blow your hand so hard it's gonna like touch the side, and that is disgusting to me
yeah.
and they freak me out. I'm with you.
I hate those. I know. Of course, in the boys' bathroom, there is so much. The napkins are like always overflowing from the trash, and so there's no such thing as a free lunch. You give up the air, and then but y'all aren't in the boys' bathroom. It's probably super clean where y'all are.
Yeah, I was
The
gonna say I
lines
don't
are
even want to.
usually longer.
The lot, sure. Okay. Um,
What's yours, Scott?
hill that I'm gonna die on. Oh man. Well, all right. I'm not gonna die on this hill, but in the hip hop world right now, or a year ago, there was a debate as to whether or not Eminem's diss track of Machine Gun Kelly was more severe. And as a longtime listener of Eminem, I just assumed it was. And then I listened to it, and Machine Gun Kelly's was much more significant. And I'm not gonna die on it, but you just threw this at me and I can't process. I'm gonna think of a really good one in a couple of weeks. but that's the only one I can think of right now is that I like Machine Gun Kelly's better than Eminem.
Or like in 10 minutes, we'll be talking
I'll
about
interrupt
like
everything we're doing in like 10 or 15 minutes and be like, I found another hill I'm gonna die on. I'm gonna find like five more for the next 30 minutes.
well, mine won't surprise either of y'all, but it is that that English has a distinct second person plural pronoun, and it is y'all.
Mm.
Does it
I,
really?
of course
Oh
it's
wait,
y'all.
you're not being we're like telling a hill that we yes, of course.
Yeah.
I want that one.
Scott, should not use the word you.
I don't. I say
I know you don't.
y'all.
You're Southerner
No,
to refer to
I
me and
know.
Hannah. Like it's weird. Nobody knows how many people you're talking to.
Yeah,
I really dislike it. And y'all is one of the like
I know.
friendliest, warmest words in the English
Hmm.
language. And
Totally.
I want everybody, people who are worried about cultural appropriation, I'm just saying as a Southerner, I
You
give you
can have
blanket
it.
permission.
This is our
We're giving
gift
this to the
to
world.
the
I've
current
noticed
world.
myself using it, and I wonder if it's your influence, especially at the
It's
end of
gotta
Middlebury. I
be.
was using it a
What
lot.
else is happening in New England where you're hearing y'all? Do they say y'all in New England?
Mostly no, but my four Yankee children who were all born and raised in Vermont say y'all. And it
Yeah.
just it makes me so happy.
I love it. I know. I say it all the time. I've thought about, well, should I be saying y'all in this email? But then I say it all the time.
Yeah. I love the word y'alls. It has two apostrophes. Like even better.
How do you use the word y'alls?
Like
You all.
all y'all's homeworks, they weren't very good.
Hmm.
So it's what I was supposed to be doing. I didn't think I was allowed to do
Not
the
yours, Hannah.
two apostrophes. I do it too. I say y'all's also.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. But we have real work to do other
okay.
than,
Real work.
saving the English language and improving bathroom experiences.
Hmm.
And our real work is that we are going to ask Hannah to check Claude's work,
Yep.
basically, in
Yep.
a thoughtful, critical way.
Oh, it's
And
a
I think
great.
this stems partly out of my anxiety about whether the things that Claude brings back to us when we ask it to go fetch data or investigate data
Yep.
are right.
Yep.
So that's part of it for me. And then the other thing that I'm just good and well obsessed with in this moment is all of these related questions about how agentic AI is going to change our profession, and in particular, how it's going to change kind of the entrance to our profession. And so, I think about somebody like Hannah, who is, she was an amazing undergraduate student. She's carrying a thesis to hopefully, knock on wood, a publication, sole authored publication in a peer reviewed
Mm.
economics journal, which will be amazing, knock on wood. Um, and is out working, thinking about applying to grad school. And so much of the training that we offer people at kind of this entrance to our profession comes from being a research assistant.
Yeah.
And so I also just kind of want to think critically about, as people like me and you, Scott, start using agentic AI, what does this mean for folks like Hannah, for whom these might be these research assistantships or opportunities to understand how the sausage is made?
The only hope is more podcasts.
The only
That's the only hope. That's the only solution I have. That's a hill I'm going to die on.
more
More
podcasts.
podcasts with RAs on it.
It's going to be a lot of
It's
podcasts.
gonna, exactly. We have labs of just where all we do is podcasts. No, totally. I mean, it's it's really hard if you step back from the normative parts of it. A lot of the well, there's the extensive margin and there's the intensive margin. People that already had RAs, it's not really clear that they need them or that they're going to use them because so much of the RA professor relationship seems to be a two-way street. They're getting mentoring and they're getting apprenticing. And you're not really mentoring or apprenticing Claude, and he's going really fast. And so he's so much increasingly like a peer in terms of his skill level. So there's that part, but then there's a lot of, resource constrained people that didn't have any RAs in the first place. And that's the extensive margin. So I think like and with all these budget cuts coming from grant, overhead getting cut,
Yeah.
and you've got the birth cohorts falling, there's a lot of higher ed uncertainty about just what resources we have access to too. So, but you're right. I mean, this is the thing about this AI is when you trace out a lot of historic technologies and you think about creative destruction, it's just happened on things that don't seem to be having this negative, real downside risk to the production of science and the upside at the same time. It's so hard to figure out what we're dealing with.
Yep.
I'm worried what's going to happen to the pre-doc and how are
Totally.
people going to prove themselves if economists can use AI to do all that work.
Yep.
But not hitting yet when I'm applying, not that soon,
Yeah.
probably.
Well, there's a lot of uncertainty. I totally agree. We do need to keep yep.
I'm curious in your world, Hannah, like, are you using agentic AI yet? Do you see other folks kind of at your um, career level using it? What's your experience been?
Yeah, I do use it in work. I don't think they would mind me saying that. We're encouraged to streamline tasks sometimes. I use Copilot, but I find that you have to give really good instructions if you want it to do a good job. And I might be lazy and not willing to write paragraphs about exactly how I want it to review documents and so
Mm,
forth. And I also notice myself using it more in my personal life. Instead of opening Google, if I have a question, I'll open ChatGPT app on my phone.
totally.
And I'm pessimistic and a little sad about AI, the way Caitlin described in the first episode. So it's almost sad to see myself starting to fall into those traps.
Yep. I know. It's hard because you also benefit, you also sense all these gains, and then you also sense all these losses. And it's like, what other technology have I felt that? I can't even, it was like the new iPhone. I mean, I don't know. I can't think of things where I felt all these complex emotions all the time. I can
Mhm.
feel these losses and I can feel these gains.
I mean, the parallel people draw, not that any of us were around to experience this, is the printing press, right? And the ways in which it eroded traditions of oral narratives, oral history, oral storytelling. I mean, I I guess like we don't remember it,
Right.
but it is one of many technological changes that we might point to that change the way humans interact, right? I also
Totally.
think about like development of the railroad system, which
Yeah.
kind of compressed space and time. Like AI feels that big to me.
It feels that big to me too. Plus, we don't remember the stories of the losers very well. So
Right.
it's not like there's a lot of stories of those artisans that get told because, it happens really fast. And lots of times in history, these big technological events, well, they're not selecting, I don't know, they're not selecting on these knowledge workers who are leaving a record as easily. If it's oral history stuff, it doesn't leave a record as easily. So
Hmm.
now it's like, if this is what people felt, you know, it's painful. It's confusing.
Yeah, it
I'm
feels like the
waiting.
first change coming for white collar jobs, and that seems to have the potential to really change the economy more than the other
Yep.
technological innovations.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, totally agree. I'm waiting for future seasons of the mixtape, Scott, where you interview people about how AI has changed how they work and
Yeah,
produce.
exactly. He's like,
Yeah.
how do you like your new life where all you do is hit a button every day? It's like, that's your new job. You just hit a
Yeah, it's like
button
The
for AI.
Simpsons,
Yeah,
where Homer has his bird that hits the button, that's
exactly. I know. It's kind of like gallows humor. It does kind of feel like that sometimes.
okay. So,
Well, go ahead.
well, I was gonna say, let's figure out what Hannah's first
Yes.
task. What are you thinking, Scott? I know what I'm thinking. Let's compare notes.
All right. So, what have we done so far? We've failed to get the replication package and had to find it on my computer. That's easy enough for her to do, though. But it is probably useful for her to do it, see if she can spin it up pretty well. But it's already really well organized. So really, it's going to probably be something with the marriage data, the marriage divorce data.
I think that's right. And just to make that a little more concrete, Hannah, so our first paper on the effects of Texas HB2, How Far is Too Far, has a replication package that's posted at ICPSR. Have you used ICPSR before?
No,
It,
but I've downloaded replication packages, so maybe I haven't, I don't remember.
You may well have. It's one of the kind of most important sites where people plop them, although I've started using Open Science Framework a lot. But it's through the University of Michigan. You can set up a free account and then you'll be able to download the replication package. And Claude failed at that. So
Yeah.
we're going to ask you to go get that replication package. And then I
Okay.
think more importantly, because Scott and I can get that replication package too, but we want you to have it. The more important thing, as you know, because Hannah's listened, tell me if I'm wrong, Hannah, you've listened to our very first episode, but not to the episodes in between yet because we haven't
Correct.
finished producing them.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So what the most important thing here that we're really adding is we're going to be able to look at the effects of this set of abortion restrictions and resulting clinic closures on marriages and divorces. And we basically figured out that Texas has publicly available data on marriages occurring in Texas. And I was shocked to discover that it's listed by the individuals getting married.
Hmm.
But there's a lot that we don't know. And there's probably a lot that we don't know as well. And so in particular, I think that the most important place for you to work right now is not only going and reading about Texas's marriage data and
Mhm.
obtaining Texas's marriage data, but also looking to see if any other states have anything comparable.
Mm.
Okay. And is the idea you don't tell me the site where I can find that data you're describing? I search for it myself.
I was thinking that too, Caitlin. We don't have, I mean, if this is supposed to be like the real world, we shouldn't try to be like tricky, right? We should
Okay,
be like,
yeah.
right? We should be like, hey, this process, none of us really know if it's even doing a good job, right? It's like hallucinating. And so, because you're gonna send instructions going forward to any humans in the loop. So I think we want Hannah to be a verifier, right?
Yeah.
Maybe if you're a busy economist, though, you don't tell your RA where to find the data. You
That's
just say,
true.
go find it. And that's
Especially
my
if
job.
Claude did it and you don't even know what he did in the first place.
Right, Scott. I'm like, where did we get that data?
I
Honest to
know,
God,
I
that is what
know.
I'm thinking. It's absolutely
Yep.
horrible. And I am one of those busy economists. I might be a very poor RA supervisor because that is
I don't think
exactly what
so.
I would say. I would be like, I know Texas has some data somewhere.
Yep.
Could you go find it?
Right, right, right,
Like,
right.
that's what I would remember. Do you remember more about it?
I just remember the acronym
What was that?
DSHS.
I'll write that down.
Yep. I know what it looks like. I know it is a bunch of spreadsheets. It's like Excel files. So it's not, I don't think, Caitlin, it was zipped. At least it's not zipped in our local Dropbox folder. So I believe it's like a website. It's an easy accessible website. Okay. All right. What about, so she's going to get that. She's going to get the marriage certificates and the divorce thing. I
And the
think that they're
divorce data.
probably right beside each other. What else? County level, Texas, years. What years were we doing?
I believe that we started around 2008 or 9.
Yeah.
2009 would be the earliest you would possibly want it because I know that if distance to the nearest abortion facility is our primary explanatory variable, the
Mhm.
farthest back I've got it is 2009. So there would be no point in getting it any earlier.
Yeah. It looks like it's '09 to 21. Well, that's what we have in the deck.
Mhm.
2009 to 2021. I don't know why we got it. Yeah, but we did get that much, but that leads to the next question.
Yeah. So
What do we want to tell her?
I've been thinking about this, and I think it's not a gotcha. I think we're going to tell Hannah a little bit of what we're discovering,
Mhm.
but have her verify it, right?
Yep.
And so Hannah, kind of to repeat and extend, we definitely want the Texas data, and we want you to go get it.
Mhm.
We're also really interested in knowing whether other states have similar data, and we haven't found any, but we haven't looked very hard.
Mm.
So we would love for you to dig around and see if you see anything else interesting in another state where you're like, oh, you could do this. Ultimately, the most important thing would be to get county level marriage counts and divorce counts. That's what we're looking for. So even if they don't have individual level records,
Mhm.
if they have county level totals, that would also be really interesting to us.
And is this at the year level or the month level?
Year would be
Yeah.
okay. I mean, it's kind of part of what you're digging into is that ideally, I always want the data to be the most granular possible because it's
Yep.
easy to aggregate them to what you want. It's
Exactly.
difficult to disaggregate them.
Mhm.
But, it's kind of like you take what you can get,
Yep.
and we don't even know what we can get.
Right.
So,
That's lucky
yeah,
that you found Texas has this marriage data and no other state does, because you just happened to be studying a
I
policy
know.
change in Texas.
I
I
know it's
know.
completely wild that
Yep.
Texas happens to be the state that has this huge policy variation for us, just sitting there like a nice, shiny natural
Yep.
experiment, and then has
Yeah.
the outcome.
Yep.
But then the other thing we'd like you to work on is when you get those Texas data, prepare for us. I'm going to go ahead and say a slide deck. I don't care how you make it. It could be PowerPoint. I'm completely agnostic about this.
Mm.
That just describes the data,
Mm.
the years you pulled, any details that you can find in the documentation about like how they're collecting it, what's measured in it, just anything that you think might be important for us to know. And then look at patterns in the data that might be interesting. And in particular, this is where I'll preview something that we discovered with Claude's help. We saw that there seemed to be a drop in the total marriage counts in Texas,
Mhm.
and that it seemed to be because around, I think it was around 2017 or 2018,
Yeah.
they started recording it differently in some way that we don't fully understand yet.
Yep. Yep.
And so we'd like you to kind of expect to see something weird going on about then. See if you see it too. I mean, maybe Claude's lying to us, right? And
Yeah.
then see what you think about it, what you can dig in and what you can learn.
And Claude told you that it was because of a change in the way they were collecting the data.
He thinks. Wasn't that
Okay.
it? It was more of a
Yeah,
conjecture.
it was a conjecture.
Hmm.
Yeah. It was a couple of things. It is weird, Caitlin. We really spent a long time on the audit, didn't we? But did we ever get to the bottom of why it just plummeted?
No, Claude was just guessing essentially that there was a change in what they were collecting, but I didn't understand it. And so my first question is there really a change?
Is there
I
really a
haven't
change?
done a single thing to look at Claude's code or data.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And so I want Hannah to tell us that's real.
So do we tell Hannah where it is that we're thinking?
What do you mean?
I mean, we tell her the year, right?
I just did around 2017, 2018.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. 28, it's 2017 to 2018.
Hmm.
That's the drop, and it is massive.
Hmm. Thankfully, the policy change was in 2013. So if that's a huge
Yeah,
caveat to the research, you could maybe just exclude those later years.
that's what we're going to do. But I think we're all wanting to be. It's gigantic, and I think we feel comfortable. But I think I would just feel more comfortable knowing with certainty what just happened. There's like little Claude kind of identified clues, things like the format of the Excel files change in the exact same year, and there's a shortening of the number of characters in some of the columns. But he just kind of was conjecturing that. How did he say it, Caitlin? That there seemed to be some kind of. He thought there was a change in the way the records were pulled that might have been creating some sort of censoring or something.
I honestly don't recall it. For anybody
We
who's listening to us and they heard the last episode an hour ago, they're going to be like, don't you all remember? But it's been a
Yeah,
week
don't
for
you
us.
remember? You're like, no,
Yes, Claude
because
was basically like, oh, the data files changed, their format changed, something changed. Don't you worry your pretty little heads about it. It's
yeah,
probably fine. And Hannah, you're exactly right that we can just drop those years without it being a very big deal. But when I see something I don't understand about the data, it always makes me wonder what else I'm just not seeing or
totally,
understanding.
Right.
totally, totally. Yeah.
So, Hannah, how does that sound as a first RA assignment?
That sounds great. I'm very excited.
Okay. Great.
All right.
This is great. I mean, it'll be, I think one of the things I really want to push people in econ on is we've got to start figuring out where to insert this human verification. It's so tempting to say never, because you're like, you just love this like autopilot thing a little bit where you're just kind of like hands off the wheel. And if you really you start to experience this deterioration in your human capital is my worry, is just that all the skills, all this like late tacit knowledge that you have about doing research that you don't even know how to articulate in all of our economic models, capital depreciates. I remember that from micro one, really just not really paying attention. So if that's true, how quickly does my human capital depreciate if I literally am no longer engaged with so many of the important pieces of it? And so I think we've all got to try to figure out, not just for the sake of the quality of the research, but just that I get to be a participant in the research. Because it starts to really not make sense that the humans evolved if literally the human's not doing anything.
At this stage, it seems important to have a human checking the work until Claude gets better. So I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah.
Me
I am
too.
too.
Hannah, while you're checking the work, I'm going to ask you to do something that nobody asks their RA to do ever. I want you to think about how you feel. Because one of the questions I've got for you as an RA, when we think about these trade-offs, is that some of this work, we all know, we have all, three of us, obtained and wrangled data, and we all know that it can be a very tedious process. And so in some ways, like, you'll be going through this tedious process and maybe you're thinking, God, I'm so happy I'm not going to have to do this anymore in the future because like my new AI technologies will do it for me. Or maybe you're thinking it's really good to kind of get my hands dirty, or maybe you're thinking something completely else. But I want to check in also about kind of your thoughts and feelings about the process after you've started going through it.
Okay,
And
I
also
will
how
make sure
long
to
it takes you.
reflect.
Yeah, we'll also
I'll
ask
take
you how
notes.
long it took you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good at tracking my hours in my
That's
job,
good,
so
even
I
though
can
we're
do
not
that.
paying
Because
you.
you're in consulting. You're
Yeah.
gonna be like these little 15-minute little things you're gonna write down. Yeah, exactly. You're gonna do it. You're gonna
Perfect.
be like 15 minutes. The opportunity cost of this little podcast is getting more and more expensive. I could have been
It's worth
billing
it though.
actual hours. Cool.
Money
All right.
isn't everything.
Money's on everything. That's right. All
Hannah,
right.
thank you so much for joining us, and we will be excited to have you on again next time to catch up on progress.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. See you, Hannah.
Bye.
I will follow up with her with an email. How'd you feel about that?
I love it. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's a great concept. I think that there's a lot of there's a lot of undergrads out there that don't know how the sausage is made, especially, and they don't know about these pre-doc tracks, and they don't know about the path to the PhD. I think they're going to be really appreciating Hannah being on the show.
Yeah. I'm also, gosh, Scott, she's so good. Like, she's turning her thesis into this sole authored work. She has an R&R for it. It's a good urban field journal. And
Oh,
maybe,
that's
at some point we
great.
might talk to her about it. You'll be interested in it.
So
But
you advised it. It was
I
her
did, yeah.
senior thesis at Middlebury.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really fun. We have, oh my gosh, it's so much fun watching undergraduate
Um,
students take their questions and run with them with these tools that we've
okay.
got. What a discipline.
Do you know much about New Hampshire in the schools
You
up
mean
there?
upside down Vermont?
Is that what they call it?
Yeah,
Upside down in Vermont?
upside down Vermont.
I was just wondering if you ever have any plans in the future of spending any time up there.
Well, Scott, you might be referring to the fact that I just told you that I have a new job,
What?
which
What is this new
that
job
was
that
the
you
worst
have?
baked surprise. I have accepted a job at Dartmouth in their quantitative social science program, and I am really psyched about it because I am just such an interdisciplinary person by nature.
Yeah.
And this program just sits at the intersection of all their social science departments and math and computer science. And there's all these people doing really cool work coming and going. And so Dartmouth is not that far away from Middlebury, where I have
Yeah.
spent the last 20 years of my career.
Ah,
But I'm going to start driving over the mountains this fall and taking on trying a new adventure.
Congratulations. They are
Thank
very
you.
lucky to have you. I'm so
I'm
happy
really
for you.
excited.
You think you're gonna be able to make it back though in time for trivia night?
Well, that is the question. Yes, I have so
Tell us about trivia night.
trivia night at the Middlebury Marquee is on Thursdays at 7 p.m. But if you want a seat, you got to get there by 5 p.m.
Oh,
My
you got anybody that'll save your seat for you?
my retired mother arrives at the Marquee, which is our local movie theater in Middlebury. It's wonderful. Go Marquee, go theaters. Everybody needs come to Middlebury and go to the theater, like the movie theater. So my mom arrives at 4:30. It's like cheers for her. Everybody know who she is, and they make her her favorite cocktail and like give her a burrito, and then she holds the seat until we get there at like
Yeah.
6:30. But we are a multi-generational team because we've got my mom and then me and my husband, and then we've got teenage kids, random college students, other people, kind of in our orbit who are a younger generation, and we're pretty into it. And
That's
of course, you
awesome.
joined us one night. You get to come
I
up and
know.
get your
I
trivia.
actually
You're pretty
felt like
good.
I made a difference. It's like value added.
You absolutely did.
Ah, felt good. Felt good
Yeah.
to get an answer right. Get a couple answers right. It always feels good.
Well, you know how we score on our team, which is that we're playing our own game. It's not just about whether we win the bar trivia, but on our team, you only get a point if you know something that nobody else on the team knew.
Yeah.
And as I recall, you got like four
I
or
think
five
I got
points.
3 or 4. Yeah, but they were like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, that was fun. That made me feel good about
There's
myself.
nights where I only get maybe one or two. So that was,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
you were a
know.
clutch player.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Well, congratulations. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about
Thank you.
Dartmouth.
Thank you. I'm
Well,
excited too.
we said we're going to try to shoot for these things to be 30 minutes. You want to try to go ahead? This was sort of because we can't really do a whole lot with Claude today, but we have this plan with Hannah,
Mhm.
and she's going to come back in a week, and we'll maybe not the next episode, but
Right.
maybe in a couple episodes.
Sounds perfect. Looking
Okay,
forward to it.
awesome. Well, I'll see you in the next episode.
All right. Bye, Scott.
My wall till it breaks. She hated when I called.